Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Big Life Podcast. I'm Leah Klinke.
And I'm Kate Phillips, and we're so excited to have you guys here today for episode 11.
Yes, we have so much to catch up on, and we even have a special guest coming up to talk about goalkeeping today. But first, let's talk about the games this week. Kate, how did your game go this week?
Our game did not go great. We played Mississippi State, ended up losing 3-0, unfortunately. They're a really good team, though. I think they're going to do really well this year. I mean, we've been saying they're a great team. But yeah, they're doing well. We didn't play great soccer, obviously lost 3-0. But yeah, we're gonna bounce back. We go to LSU on Thursday, and then we have Alabama at home on Sunday, so 2-game week. I'm gonna bounce back. But I mean the SEC is like wide open right now. A lot of like literally from besides I think Arkansas is top like through top right now. Um Everybody else though is like the points is like so close. It's literally like wide open. Um so I mean that's good for us. But yeah, unfortunate. Looking forward to bounce back though this week. How'd
Hmm.
your things go?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, that's like a good sign that the SEC is like wide open. And I mean, I think it is for every conference. There's been crazy results, but it's important, like we have basically like 3 or 4 weeks left until like those tournament like SEC, ACC, the end of the season tournaments start. So I mean, there's still a bunch of opportunity and chances just to try to lock in your spot for that tournament. So I feel like that'll be a good goal for you guys, definitely to continue to improve and just make your way up the SEC, which I'm sure you guys will do. But yeah, Mississippi State is they're a really good team, especially in these past few years. They've been a really good team. So, but y'all will be able to bounce back just fine. Our games last week, we had two. We played UNC on Wednesday and we won 4-3. Crazy game. We were up by 3 goals and then we gave them two. It was back and forth at the end of the game. We played well besides giving up 3 goals that were we just like turned off for a minute because I think we were up and we were like, oh, we got this, and then we turned off. But I mean, anything can happen. So we definitely learned our lesson from that. And they are a great team, so they were able to capitalize on quick opportunities. Like I think right after we scored our third goal, like 2 minutes later, they scored. So it was definitely a battle. They're a great team, but it was very good result for us. So that was good. And then so we played that at home, and then on Sunday we traveled to Clemson. Beautiful place, by the way. Wow. I mean, Clemson was beautiful. And we ended up winning that game as well. It was 5-1. And that was a great performance for our team. Our coaches have been talking to us a lot lately about like mental stamina and how we can't get too high or too low on anything. So, and just taking care of every single game because some teams are easy to overestimate or underestimate, like, oh, they're really good or like they're really bad, like we should win, like whatever. Clemson obviously a great team always, but just like in general. So yeah, we were mentally like locked in and ready to play and we played great. So that was a good result for us and a really good week for us in general. But still we have a lot to work on, especially in giving up some goals that should not have been given up. So yeah, it's been great. And then next week we play, or I guess this week now, we play Louisville on Friday. So, and it's going to be interesting. Last year we tied them 1-1. Now we played them at Louisville. This year we play them at home, so at Notre Dame, and they're really good this year. They've been having a heck of a season. I think they're riding on like a big win streak. Don't quote me on that, but I think they've been winning a lot of games. I think they're ranked like 10 or 15 or something really high. So, I mean, it's going to be a great game, and they have some really good players. So, looking forward to that this week for sure.
But I wanted to add Louisville, a lot of my I have a couple of club teammates that play there, and then also like a lot of from people from summer league. So I've been seeing like they've been doing really well.
Mm-hmm. They have.
Um, but yeah, like two of my old club teammates play on that team and play well. I wonder, wait, which side are you on? Are you on the left?
Which side of what?
The
Oh,
that
like my position?
Yes, yeah.
Oh yeah, I play like left, like wing back.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
normal.
you'll play against my friend Emmy, I assume.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
That's cool. That'll be fun.
Should be exciting week with some games, so can't wait to see how we do. But
Hmm.
um now we're gonna get to talk to our guest, so we're gonna add him. Hi guys, we have an awesome guest with us here today, Austin Parker. He is a assistant coach here at the University of Missouri. He works directly with the goalkeeping group. This is Austin's first season with the Tigers after joining us in May. Before coming to Mizzou, he served as a goalkeeping coach at North Texas and Central Oklahoma. Today, we're excited to talk to him about goalkeeping development, mentality, and his coaching career. So, Austin, why don't you start off by telling us about your soccer career?
Yeah. Yeah, like Kate, really appreciate that. First year with working with Kate specifically and being with Missouri. Loved it so far. So my soccer career actually started in Oklahoma. Got into soccer just kind of as most kids do around that youth 4v4 age. I enjoyed soccer at the time, but it really wasn't my sport. Those were the ages where goalkeepers really weren't a thing. And I liked soccer and I played it, but I think as soon as kind of goalkeeping became a thing, I really fell in love with the position. So I played for Oklahoma Energy growing up. I had a fantastic coaching staff there. I had this two different head coaches throughout my club career. Both been fantastic, have had very good careers. And then my goalkeeping coach, actually, Alexis Vizarellas, he's probably the reason I got into goalkeeper coaching. I think that from a young age, he made me fall in love with the position. He influenced me in positive ways. He made goalkeeper training fun. So that was kind of where my love for goalkeeping started. Played throughout my club career. Then I played at a couple different small colleges in Oklahoma. I played in the NAIA. Um, Enjoyed what I got to do there. I kind of knew that I always wanted to be a coach. I wasn't an elite level player or goalkeeper. I was a bang average goalkeeper. And I just loved the position. I loved to study it. I loved the game. And so for me, I loved playing, but I kind of knew I always wanted to step into that coaching role. So playing career, played semi-pro for a little bit, played 3 years in college, but really that was it for me. I kind of got into coaching as soon as that was over, and that's where we're at now.
That's awesome. What do you think is your favorite part about coaching and specifically goalkeeping coaching?
Ooh, that's a great question. I love developing goalkeepers. I like the actions after a big save. I like the preparation that goes into goalkeeping. And for me, why I fell in love with coaching and goalkeeping is really the relationships with people. There's very few jobs that you're in charge of a group of people and you kind of get to see them grow and develop and into not only goalkeepers and good soccer players, but at the collegiate level, they go on to graduate and get awesome jobs and do things like that. And that to me is probably my favorite part of coaching. Now, specifically goalkeeping, I'm really into the position. I think that it's a sport inside of a sport. I've studied it for a long time. I've coached it for probably 10 years now. And to me, I think that the uniqueness of the position, the unique role we have to play while still keeping kind of our identity on the field and things like that is probably what draws me most to the position specifically.
Yeah, let's dive a little bit deeper with goalkeeper specific things. Would you say is the biggest adjustment for goalkeepers having to transition from club to college level?
Yeah, I think that, there's a ton of clubs around, right? And if you don't make one team, you can go to the next. You're gonna play a lot as a goalkeeper in club. And I think the biggest transition is probably the mental side for goalkeepers, right? You can go from playing 90 minutes every game. If you're healthy, whether you train that week or not, you're gonna play if the team has trust in you and things like that. And when you get to college, you're stepping in an environment with older people, older players, players that have kind of been there and done that, and specifically about goalkeeping, you really don't see the field right away. Now, there are freshmen that come in and do, but a lot of the times you're stepping in and you're kind of just training. Now, you're going to see the field and maybe some preseason stuff and during training going 11v11 and things like that. But I think the biggest transition for high school goalkeepers going into college is the mental game behind it, because you're, like I said, you're going from playing 90 minutes every game, and especially like at schools like Notre Dame and Missouri, you were probably one of the top prospects on your, club team, things like that. So you played every minute, and you're the big time goalkeeper, things like that. And then you step into college and you're competing with 21, 22-year-old athletes who, and I think, Kate, goalkeeping is a lot of experience, right? Like you can have the best trainers, you can have this, that, the other, but without game experience, there's no better teacher in goalkeeping than actually playing the game, right? So that's the biggest thing, is going from playing all the time, training maybe goalkeeping once or twice a week, to, well, now you're training 5 times a week and you have to show up every day and be 100%, be at your best. But now you're not being rewarded with playing games. You have to develop into what the team needs, what you step into that dynamic with the coach, and well, what does the coach need? What how can I fit into this group and still kind of be that identity that I had coming in of that big time goalkeeper, even though I'm not playing. So I think maybe the biggest transition is game time. It's and that's a mental tax, right? That can really affect goalkeepers and things like that. So I would say that's probably the biggest transition from high school and club to the collegiate level.
Yeah,
Hmm.
I think for a lot of like young goalkeepers too, redshirting that first year is always just, I feel like, huge. You see those girls develop usually into just really, really good goalkeepers because they get a year of just training and being in the college environment. Because I mean, even the play, it's just a huge, huge jump.
Absolutely. It's a long, grueling season, and it's nothing like you guys have experienced at the club and high school level. So stepping into it, and like you said, either coming in early, redshirting, whatever that may be, getting that kind of time and that training and that experience under your belt is only going to help you become a better goalkeeper.
Hmm.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Kind of pivoting off of this, you're talking about high schoolers transitioning into college. What advice would you give to young women, young goalkeepers who do aspire to play college soccer?
Yeah, young goalkeepers, I think that you need to get as much exposure as possible. That's going to camps, going to watch games, to see kind of what that team plays like. But the biggest thing is going to be exposure, whether that's going to club camps that invite college coaches, or going specifically to that college you likes camp. Because I think a big thing for goalkeeping is, as much time as I spend with the goalkeepers here at Missouri, and as much time as I spend with Kate, is especially at the recruiting level, is I have to enjoy training you, right? Because we really only have 3 or 4 goalkeepers most of the time, and only one's playing, so I have to see how you respond to that. But I think the biggest thing is getting out in front of those coaches, sending emails, sending texts, all that stuff is big. But going to the camps, getting in front of the coaches, shaking hands, introducing yourself, training like you train back at home. Like go into that goalkeeper session and own it. Communicate, be positive. I always say, if you see something good during a session, say something good. Let that kind of positivity radiate throughout, because you really want, yes, you want to be a good goalkeeper, you want to be all this, but you want to enjoy training with the goalkeeper coach, and you want them to enjoy training you. Because if they feel like you can be brought in and be developed, because like I said, most goalkeepers don't play right away. So we have to enjoy the person, we have to enjoy their training habits, things like that. So again, have good training habits, go to camps, get exposure, go to um the big tournaments, the showcases, things like that have coaches, and be yourself. Communicate loud on the field. If you know coaches are going to that game, reach out. I think a big thing is have a good warm up. I've stopped by a field a lot of times just based off the goalkeeper's warm up and how they handle it and how professional it is, and that will take me to watch your game, maybe watching another warm up and I don't like it as much, because the way we warm up, even at the collegiate level, it's professional, right? And we want to see that, and we want it to be an easy transition coming to college. So, we watch those things. It's not only what you do during the game, especially goalkeeping, but it's your warm up, it's your training habits, it's things like that. So again, I think the biggest thing is getting out in front of those coaches, because you want to enjoy training with them, especially in a tight knit group like goalkeeping, because it's 4 people. It's the coach and 3 goalkeepers most of the time now in the NCAA. So you have to enjoy that dynamic as well as they have to enjoy training you. So get out in front of those coaches, train, send emails, text, calls, showcases. the biggest thing is get out to those camps and train with that goalkeeper coach.
Yeah, when I was getting recruited, that I would say more than like my club teammates that were just field players, like I was going to camps and training just because coaches also want to see how you train with them and their style of training, if you can kind of keep up with it, and how you do in their environment.
Absolutely.
What would you say is the biggest misconception people have about goalkeepers or goalkeeper trainings?
Yeah, I think, the surface level perception of goalkeeping is see the ball, save the ball, right? They see goalkeepers flying around making saves and they think that's all it is during training. They think that's all we do during training, right? And it's a lot deeper than that. I think that's probably the biggest misconception. Our trainings are you're training as a soccer player, not just a goalkeeper, right? We want you to be good in all aspects. We want you to be able to understand our tactics, how we play, and we have to implement that into the session, right? We want you to be all around players. You hear the term all the time now as sweeper keeper, right? We want you to come off your line. It used to be back in the day of just listen, line goalkeeper, stay on your line, be physical, be dominant in the box, and make close reaction saves, right? That's what the position used to be. Now, over kind of the last 15 years, it's developed, and you see different professional goalkeepers using their feet more, sliding into the back line. They're kind of the one that can start the attack at times. They're the outlet. They're the one who can um exploit space, things like that. So probably one of the biggest misconceptions is just that surface level perception of they're just diving around, stuff like that during training, whereas it's so much more than that. You have to incorporate playing with the feet, tactical mastery as well as technical mastery. I think that it's huge at this level, especially recording session, things like that, is the details that we put into our session. And I like to say you work in millimeters and milliseconds, right? That's the difference between a save and not a save. That's the difference between pushing one off the post and wide or pushing one in your own goal is things like that. So that's probably the biggest misconception is how much focus we put into those sessions. It's not just getting out there diving around, high reaction saves, punches out of the box, things like that.
What would you say separates a good high school goalkeeper from one who's really ready to compete at the Division 1 level?
Yeah, I would say obviously the physical is going to be big. Like that's the most obvious answer. You have to have the body to go out and play at the Division 1 level or the NCAA level, whatever that may be. But the biggest one is going to be the mental side, the mental piece. You are going from being the top dog on your club team or high school team where everyone listens to kind of what you have to say on the field to where now you're in an environment when you have to prove yourself, right? Like I said earlier, you're in there with older players, you're in there with older goalkeepers, and you have to maintain who you are through that, through the adversity, through the trials that you go through in a college season and preseason and things like that. So the biggest difference for me is going to be the mental side of a goalkeeper, how they come in, how they come in. I mean, you can tell pretty quickly kind of how they came in preseason, if they took it seriously or not, right? Are they training? Are they doing the right things? And then again, where are they at mentally? Are they stepping in the session and making the session their own and already being treated and treating themselves like the number one? And again, that's not taking reps from other people. That's not being negative, but that's having a confidence and a swagger about you during the session to where you just kind of exuberate that throughout the team. And probably one of the hardest things to do at a young age is kind of give that confidence to the rest of your team, whether that's through communication, shot stopping, claiming your box, things like that. It's such a difficult thing to do. So those goalkeepers that come from high club soccer, high school level into college, it's going to be the mental aspect. Obviously, if you're being recruited at those big schools, you probably do have the body for it, the physical side, things like that. But now it's how's your mental side going to be stepping into that?
Yeah, that's something, I mean, we talk about a ton. And I mean, it's taken me a while to work on over the past 3 years. And finally seeing like good effects from it. And I mean, it takes a while to develop into, especially for a young goalkeeper. Um,
Hardest thing to do for a younger goalkeeper. It really, really is that mental side. You spend a couple years being prepared to come out and you've played every minute this season. So it took you training, game experience, letting goals in, making big saves to kind of get you that confidence level to step in and have the season that you're having.
How this is a question I think a lot of younger goalkeepers have, and I mean, even I, not a question, but people like will say is that size for a goalkeeper, your height is something that matters. How important do you think the size or height for a goalkeeper at the college level matters? Just because I could be considered a small goalkeeper, especially in the SEC. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I'm not going to say it doesn't matter. It absolutely does matter. It is more natural to look at a taller goalkeeper than it is a smaller one. That does not mean the smaller one cannot do the things that the bigger goalkeeper can do. I see it firsthand with you every single day. The way you lead, the way you make saves, the way you carry yourself throughout a training, you do so much more than just the physical aspect and the size, right? So yes, is size a thing? Absolutely. You're going to get looked at first. And maybe you feel like as a smaller goalkeeper, you have to prove yourself a little bit more. And that's natural. And I think that that's something you've done. And to me, it's not the biggest thing in the world. You want a goalkeeper back there that's confident, that I say this all the time, is okay with conceding goals, because that's kind of the purpose of it, right? Now that can go so much deeper than that and kind of the way people take it, but we want you to bounce back from those things. If you don't have the mental side, it doesn't matter how big, tall, strong you are. It really doesn't. And I would say, I didn't get to train you the past couple of years, but one of the best parts of your game right now is your mental side and how strong you are mentally. So for me, if you've got the mental side, if you're tactically sound, technically sound, you've got a top goalkeeper there. It really does not matter the size. Will it maybe get you more looks in recruiting, things like that? Absolutely. Will you maybe feel like if you're a smaller goalkeeper, you got to step in and prove it a little more? Absolutely. But that kind of comes with the position, right? And then that can motivate the goalkeeper as well. So I'm not going to say that it's, oh, I don't pay. Obviously, through the recruiting process, things like that, you're going to pay attention to those things. But once you actually get on the field and in the session, things like that, and in the game, it really doesn't matter. More matters how you carry yourself. Are you a leader? Does the back line have the trust with you? Does the team have the trust with you? Things like that.
Mhm.
Yeah, you've already kind of mentioned the mental side of goalkeeping, but can you dive a little bit deeper into kind of the mental side that people don't talk about as much as a goalkeeper, especially when bouncing back from maybe giving up a goal or like having a mistake, because one mistake in the goal can cost a lot. So, what is your advice on that?
Yeah, I think that you have to be okay with failure. I really do, because I think that every time we concede a goal, it's considered failure, right? It doesn't matter if it was our fault or someone else's fault. Our job is to keep it out. You have to be okay with that. You have to learn from it. And you have to be okay with it. You have to be able to handle the intense pressure. And another word that I like to bring up in goalkeeping is the isolation. Because on the field, when you make a mistake, there's nobody to talk to. You can't look at your center back. There's no, you're not right there with somebody else. There's not a coach next to you. You can't get a sub out, things like that. You're there by yourself in your own head, right? So how do you then handle that? I think that one thing I love to implement with goalkeepers is a physical reset. I like to unstrap the gloves, strap it back on, and I even do this during training. Once your gloves are restrapped, you're not allowed to think about the past. Whether you just conceded a goal, just gave the ball away, whatever that is, I think that having a physical reset is also kind of a mental reset and tells you, okay, gloves are back on. What can we do now? So it's definitely the most important part of goalkeeping. You have to be okay with failure. You have to understand that you're going to make mistakes. You're going to concede goals. But more importantly, how do you respond? Are as soon as you concede the goal, does your head drop? Do you kind of let that negativity and that doubt spread throughout the team? Or do you keep your head up, get the ball out of your goal, quick physical reset, girls, let's go, and we continue to carry on? Because that, I'll tell you what, the 5 minutes after you make a mistake and concede a goal feels like the loneliest spot in the world. You can hear the fans, hear the coaches, you're thinking in your head what everyone else thought of that. Did it look as bad as I thought? All these other things, but you can't think about that during the game. You have to be able to forget about it and move on. And that's probably one of the biggest things. Now, as well as kind of you have to manage the competition and the uncertainty, because especially in preseason, especially in those early days, you might not be playing, especially during the season. Well, then how do you handle that? And to me, mental side is the biggest part of goalkeeping. So I think that the biggest thing is being okay with quote unquote failure, because that's what it is. We fail a lot in goalkeeping because the ball touches the net a lot, but we have to be okay with it. We have to move on, and we have to stay positive and continue to focus on the details and control what we can control, right?
Yeah, you kind of started to touch on this a little bit. How do you build confidence in a goalkeeper who might not be getting playing time?
Yeah, it's an interesting one, right? Because you want to make them feel valued. For me, a couple techniques that I use is you want to give them opportunities to be successful during training. You want to put them in situations where they can go out and prove themselves. Just because you're a two doesn't mean you're always going to be the last one in the line every time, getting the last reps, getting the fewest amount of shots. Sometimes I pull the starter out because they've had a few games. The body's tired. Well, then that's your time to go out there and prove yourself. And then you have to foster a growth mindset. You have to focus on I like the small goals, right? So I'm not playing, I'm upset. Okay, well, what can I do? Well, I need to get better at distribution. So how can the coach and I get better at that? I need to get better at my crosses. Okay, well, how can I get better at that this week to where if my chance does come to go in, I'm ready to go, right? And a lot of it is the relationship between the goalkeeper coach and the goalkeeper. There has to be a trust factor there. And that's probably the biggest part of it, because I don't handle every goalkeeper that's not playing the same way. It sometimes they feel like they deserve to be playing every minute. Sometimes they understand where they're at and they're okay with, not okay with, but they understand they need to continue to develop in certain areas to get their chance. So it kind of depends what kind of goalkeeper you have and where their head's at during it. But a lot of the biggest points are setting individual goals, making them feel valued, and then giving them opportunities to be successful during training, whatever that may look like. It can look at a lot of different things. Sometimes it's setting up a session specifically for them because it's their super strengths, and it's giving them confidence then throughout the session, right? So there's a lot of different ways. It just kind of depends on the goalkeeper. But the biggest thing is going to be the relationship between the goalkeeper coach and the goalkeeper, and the trust factor there that even though they might not be playing, they'll still be developing, and they're getting ready for if their time does come, right?
Yeah. Could you talk a little bit about how big it is for goalkeepers to watch film, not just from games, but training as well?
Absolutely. It's absolutely massive. It first of all, it shows you have a professional mindset, which I think you guys know at your level you have to have, right? Um, I think tactically it helps tremendously. It helps you understand your role in the team, how you can play your role, and then specifically how you can improve. Where the spaces to exploit when the ball's at my feet. Do I need to drop more to give depth? It's all these different kind of things, right? So especially during training, depending on where you set the camera, it can help you pinpoint certain technical improvements, like certain technicalities that you may have in your set, or how you approach a ball, or how you strike a ball. And then going and reviewing that, a lot of us are visual learners. We want to see the correct way to do it, and we want to see the way we're doing it, because I can say it 100 times. That doesn't mean that it's going to resonate every single time with you guys, right? So me being able to say it and then sit you down and say, hey, this is what I was talking about earlier. This is the correct way to do it. It helps goalkeepers absolutely tremendously. And then kind of preparing for opponents, right? For me specifically, watching film, when I build sessions, I look to build sessions that touch on the trends and kind of the tactics of the other team, kind of what traits their striker has, where they create chances from, where they're most dangerous, where they score most goals from, because it is my job as a goalkeeper coach to give you as many pictures during the session as you are going to see during the game, to help you be more prepared. It's my job to give you that experience during the session, to where when you see it during the game, it's not going to be like that's the first time it's happened, right? Or you're not going to feel shocked by anything. So it helps you prepare, it helps you become a better goalkeeper. And then depending on how you use it during sessions and things like that, it can fix so many technical deficiencies, especially because earlier something I mentioned was we work in millimeters and milliseconds. So every little thing matters. You have to be extremely detailed in goalkeeping. And film helps that, whether it's preparing for opponents, fixing the tactical things that you could be doing differently, and fixing the technical things that can help you make bigger saves and be bigger in moments for your team.
Yeah, I think watching film is huge, even for young goalkeepers. Like, I think during games, there's situations where you think you made the right decision, and then you look back and you're just like, that was not the right decision in the
Gives
moment.
you some accountability as well, because
Yeah.
yes, it's so easy to blame a defender and be like, oh, they should have been marked up. And then you go back and watch film and you're like, where was I set in goal? I actually wasn't set anywhere near the ball line at all. And actually, it was my job to make that save and I failed there. So it gives goalkeepers a lot of accountability too, because there is a thing of, ah, that's not my fault. I'm so against that. I think every time it touches our net, we have to take accountability, right? And we have to focus on us and what we could have controlled in that situation, because we can't control what happens out there, but we can control our actions in between the sticks.
For y'all's film, for goalkeepers at Mizzou, do you guys do like mostly individual with the keepers, or do you bring in the whole back line, or how does that work, kind of?
So we do a team film that is with goalkeepers and backline and things like that. A lot of how we do film, and kind of touching on earlier of how do you handle a goalkeeper that's not playing, is we do film open to all goalkeepers. So yes, I may be speaking to Kate and handling those things, but I have the other goalkeepers in there so that they can learn, they can see, and then if their time does come, they're prepared for it, right? And so we do lots of game film. We do scout on the opponent. We kind of do the whole thing here. A lot of training film. If I see something that needs to be broken down right then and there, I'll share it with the goalkeepers. If I see something good, I'll share it with the goalkeepers. We don't sit there and watch as much training film as we do game film, but I am always providing the goalkeeper with training film so that if they themselves want to go look at it or see, hey, coach said this or this, they can then go back and kind of reference that and see themselves during training and kind of see how they did.
What excites you most about our goalkeeping group at Mizzou so far?
I think I stepped into a fantastic group. I think what excites me the most is the improvement we've already made over 3 months of being together. You and I watched film the other day, and we had already seen major improvements throughout things that maybe a month and a half ago we'd have looked at and been like, "Hey, you could have been better here." Watching film now, you see those improvements. Seeing the improvements in the 2 and the 3. I think that we have a fantastic core that's going to stay together for more than just a semester or two, right? We're going to be together for, it sounds like, 3 to 4 semesters. So for me, that's nice because I enjoy working with you guys, which is the biggest thing. And I think that there's an extremely high ceiling with this group. I think that every day, all 3 of you show up to push yourself and work extremely hard and compete, but make it, it needs to be fun while competing, right? And so for me, the most exciting part is that I'm going to be able to have you guys for more than just a semester, and I'm going to be able to see that development through a year 1 and year 2 and things like that.
Yeah, I think one big thing with when you have a group of goalkeepers who are all competing for one starting role is something that I don't know about other teams have, but we are all like really close to each other and good friends and like love each other, love being around each other. And I don't think you get that a lot just because you're competing for a spot for one person to be playing. And I think that's something huge at Mizzou that we're all really close and good friends and I don't think you see that a lot in the college game.
No, I would absolutely agree with you. I think, it's easy to turn sour when things aren't going your way, right? It really, really is. So, uh, the group we have here, I stepped into a fantastic environment. Obviously, thanks Kelsey for that. And, I'm excited to see where we can go from here, because the growth in 3 months so far has been huge.
Well, thank you for joining us today, Austin. We really appreciate everything you've done for our goalkeeping program so far at Mizzou, and I've loved getting to work with you and build an amazing relationship so far. So thanks for taking your time today and giving us some advice for younger goalkeepers.
Absolutely. Thank you guys for having me. I've been watching this a few episodes now, and I love what you guys are doing.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
It was great having Austin on. We've had so much fun this year already with my whole goalkeeping group, in him. I think all of us, like you said, has made huge improvements. This even I don't even know, we've been 3 months together for 3 months. Um, so I mean, just a testament to the goalkeeping coach that he is. And I think one of the biggest takeaways that I had about what he was talking about was the mental side of the game and how like crucial it is, especially as a younger player coming in like freshman year. I think for me, freshman year, I did have a really difficult time with that just because it was the first time playing in such a high pressure, like obviously as a goalkeeper it's always like very high pressure situation, but in college it's even more like it's amplified by so much.
Hmm.
But I think I didn't deal with it as well as I do now and figured out what works best for me and how to also deal with pregame anxiety and pregame nerves that then I let translate onto the field, where now it's like just there's like no, I mean, I always have nerves before a game. I think everybody does, but
Hmm.
I don't let that go into my warm up and go into my um or my go into my pregame stuff, go into my warm up and go into the game, where previously if I had, I don't know, a bad warm up or something in pregame, then just became a spiral, and then something happens in the game, and then you just keep spiraling. And I think I've figured out how to deal with that, and it's helped me a ton. I
Hmm.
also think as a goalkeeper too, when you get into a zone, I think for a lot, even for like field players, when you get into this like zone of like just playing well, like you're making like saves that you never thought you could be making, it helps so much with the mental side, because in a game when you're doing that and then I don't know, it just like is like a flow state. You get in this like flow state and then you're just performing at your best. And like when I get into like that flow state, it's just I don't know. Those are the games I always just play my best. Just
Hmm.
because I'm literally just thinking about nothing and I'm just playing with no pressure, no like thoughts, just like out
Yeah.
playing, having fun.
Yeah. Yeah. When you're in that flow state, just like playing, yeah, and having fun, like you said. I think that's important. I think some of the biggest takeaways were, well, first of all, it was good for me to hear. Oh, I have never played goalkeeper, so it was good for me to hear a lot about goalkeeping, and especially you guys at Missouri, like how close you guys are, like how you guys support each other, and you guys all seem just like a very tight-knit unit. And even though there's one that's playing, like you guys all just supporting each other, backing each other, and being there for each other, and being close off the field too. So that was really good for me to hear about. I think what I liked most from that talk, or what I picked out the most, was when he said that he encourages like a physical reset, like maybe after a mistake was made or after you get scored on or something, like just like taking off your gloves, like that's in the past, like now like I'm a new goalkeeper, like starting over. I think that like really struck me. I think that's such a good idea. Um, Especially for goalkeepers, but then even for like field players too, if there's something like little you can do to just like reset yourself. I think that's great. So I'm like trying to think of something that like I can do, because I'm like, wait, I wanna do that. Like that sounds good.
Yeah.
Uh,
We always do, like he's really big on that. I've had other goalkeeping coaches as well, but he'll always be like in training, I don't know, we drop a ball or something, he'll just be like, Kate, like restrap your gloves, go take a quick walk, not a walk, but like just walk out,
yeah,
come back, restrap
yeah.
your gloves, and like start over. And it does help, just like it's like, okay, like that's not me. Like I can hold that, whatever, like restrap. Or even like, I don't know, I'm just like I like mess with like my shorts or like my shirt. Like just I don't
Hmm.
always restrap. But like I do think having something that's just like a quick like switch of like, okay, that happened.
Hmm.
Now I have to move on from it, because if I don't, then I'm letting my team down. Um,
Yeah,
but yeah.
yeah, yeah. No, I think that's great. And yeah, that was cool for me to hear, and that seems like great, and that it would help you guys and all the goalkeepers out there. So now we had you guys ask some questions kind of about goalkeeping on Instagram. So we're gonna answer some of them now with Kate. So first off, first question is, do you ever feel pressure and how do you handle that mental pressure?
Yeah, I kind of talked about that with my takeaway from Austin. I think as a goalkeeper, yeah, you always feel pressure. It's a position that if you make a mistake, it feels like the world's ending. Just because you the game of soccer is based off goals. And I mean, it's your job to not get scored on. And when you get scored on, you do feel like you're letting your team down in a way. In some situations, you literally can't do anything. You look back and you're like, well, I don't know. Can't do anything in that situation. So it is really easy to feel that pressure, but I think for me, I kind of embrace it a little bit just because I know it's there and it's always going to be there. And I think that when once you kind of flip the switch of like instead of letting the pressure kind of take over like you and your mind, like embrace it and like kind of live for it a little bit. Something Austin talked about was just having, especially as a number one, and I guess for any goalkeeper is just like having like just this like aura of like I'm the best player on the like I feel like for goalkeepers like I'm the best player on the field, like you're not scoring on me, like
Mm-hmm.
bottom line, like you're not scoring on me. um and I think kind of once you can embrace that, which is hard. I'm not like a player that's like super overly confident that people like are gonna be like, I don't know, some people use like cocky, like that's a cocky player. You have to if you're playing at this level.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, no, you're not gonna beat me. Like I'm better than you. Um,
Yeah.
and then how do I kind of handle mental pressure? Something again you said was like mental resets are huge. Growing up, I had like, and I still have a bracelet on my gloves, but I would have a bracelet on my, I would put a bracelet on my glove, and I forget what it said when I was younger. I think it was something about being brave and bravery. Um, and now mine is something that I got from a camp that I was at. That I'll just look at and kind of remind myself to calm down. Everything's gonna be okay. Um, and also something that kind of helps with that is my mom, like with the bravery one, which is this is just funny now. My mom actually texts me like before every game and be like, Kate, like be brave, like you've got this, like go out there
Oh.
and be brave. And I feel like for goalkeepers, like I've always tried to embody the word like bravery just because you're putting your body on the line for your team. And when I was younger, it's really easy to be like kind of scared of the ball and not like just get ready to get hit with the ball and put your body in there. But that's something kind of I've tried to embody as a player a little bit more is to just be brave and embrace the craziness of goalkeeping.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, that's great. And I like your point just about confidence, like not being cocky, obviously, but just like in your head having it like, I've got this, like I'm like they're not scoring on me. Like I think that's definitely important and necessary. Um, Next question is, did you always play goalkeeper growing up? And if not, like when did you start? What got you into it?
Yeah, I did not always play goalkeeper growing up. I played field until I was 10, no, maybe a little bit older. 10 or 11 maybe. I started playing travel soccer when I was 8. And my travel coach at the time was the goalkeeping coordinator or director at our club. And she was a goalkeeper actually at Tennessee. And she just was like I was taller than everybody as a kid and like very aggressive. So she was just like, "Oh, perfect, goalkeeper. Like, I'm gonna put you in." And I mean, I liked it, but I think I liked playing forward. I liked scoring. And then she like had me start coming to these training sessions like with all the little kids. And I think I after being around her and just um learning the game a little bit more as a kid, I started to kind of fall in love with it. And then I stuck with it ever since. Probably I can't say, maybe U11 or something. But yeah, I played ever since, and then only goalkeeper. Wish I could play the field sometimes. I don't know if anybody wants to see that, but
Oh my gosh, that's funny. I'm sure you would be great, especially at forward.
yeah.
Um, okay, the next one is what is your this is like not even having to do with goalkeeping, but what is your biggest soccer ick?
Oh gosh. Oh my gosh, actually, this just for me. Two things. Um, One is the people that still wear the ninja headbands.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, I don't like those. And then also
that's fair.
the people, I really hope you don't do this. I don't know. But the people that cut the back of their socks, do you know what I'm talking about?
Oh,
By the
yeah, yeah, yeah.
calves? I
Yeah,
like I get like your calf isn't that big, be so for real.
yeah. Wait,
Uh
yeah, I don't know why. It's like something about the pressure of the sock or something. I don't know. Yeah, I don't understand that either. I feel like it's mainly with boys.
yeah.
So
There is a I don't remember which team, but we played a team that she
you're like not to call you out, but
call that girl out, but she did, and I was like,
yeah.
I don't get
Yeah,
it.
like there's no way that does anything.
No.
Yeah. That's a good one. That's a good one.
What's your biggest soccer ick?
Um, I mean, I can't even like think of one on the top of my head. I don't really have anything. Unless like I just like don't like the girls who like I don't know, just like talk back to you or like sassy to you like
Uh,
if you or if you're like trying to get the ref's attention or something and there will be like I don't know. Like they could just be like annoying, which is like I honestly like can't talk too much about this because sometimes I'll do it if I'm mad. I'll like I don't know. Um, but I don't know. I feel like that's kind of I'm like, what are you doing? Like, I don't know. It kind of like gets me like fired up though, so it kind of helps, but I
yeah.
mean, I guess that's but nothing about like I don't know, like how players look or anything. I don't think so. But yeah, I'd
Yeah.
say that. Just like annoying annoying girls like during the game. I'm like, what are you doing?
No, I get annoyed with that too because I'm not somebody that like talks back to the ref unless somebody's like, I don't know, doing something to me on a corner or I don't know, something else. But it just like annoys me because then they just start sassing you back. I'm like, I didn't do anything. Like, why are you sassing me? Like, bro, I just like I'm just like here. Like I'm not
Yeah. Yeah,
being
yeah, yeah.
specifically to you. And I feel like usually like I mean, I there's only like one situation where like I can think about playing that I've like done something that like somebody could have gotten mad at me about. But besides that, I'm like, you're the one that's like pulling on my jersey and I'm just trying to go up and get the ball. Like, I don't
Mhm.
know, getting mad at me in the ref. Like it,
Yeah.
I don't know. Those
Yeah.
people it's like let
Yeah.
the ref live.
Yeah. Yeah. No, definitely. There's like a lot of complaining to the ref, especially in college soccer, but again, I can't really say anything because I'm probably a big instigator of that. But it's for good reasons. It's all for good reasons. And we love all of the refs out there. I don't know how you do your job with a bunch of angry girls, probably
Yeah.
unhappy with you, and coaches, angry coaches at your calls, but they're great. The refs are all great. Okay, so the next question that we're gonna go over from the Instagram is what makes goalkeepers unique? And this is coming from kind of some of the comments, but then also my personal experience and what I think about goalies in general. First, I think it's just their fearlessness and their bravery. I mean, they have to stop shots that are coming seems like a million miles an hour right at their face or dive across the goal to save the ball. So that's incredible, what they can do and just the bravery that they need to have to do that. And then also, I think what makes goalkeepers unique is the confidence they have to have and the leadership skills. I mean, they have to be the biggest communicator on their team. They have to communicate, organize the back line, and just be a really big leader on their team. Kind of some of the other players in a game, you can just like blend in with the crowd, blend in with your team. But goalies have such an important position. They can't blend in. They have to do their job or else they're gonna get scored on. So it makes them have a lot of pressure for sure, but just makes them really unique and like star players on teams for sure. It's incredible what you guys do.
Thanks, Leah. I'm gonna read actually what some of you guys said. Leah touched on them. People said they're always so tough. Fearless, hands down, toughest player on the team. Goalkeepers thrive under pressure. Their willingness to lay their bodies on the line. They're so fun and they hold their teams down. Their toughness and ability to be a leader and coach from the back, seeing everything. Um, they have incredible focus, quick reactions, lots of bravery and leadership. They're the heart of the team, which I love to hear. But
Yeah.
yeah, I agree with all of those.
Yeah, for sure. Well, you guys are all amazing. And I mean, that was a great episode just listening to the interview and your coach and just appreciation episode for all of our goalkeepers out here.
It was a lot of fun getting to talk about my position, and hopefully you learned a little bit, Leah.
I did for sure. I have learned a lot for sure and just makes me appreciate all the goalkeepers and my goalkeepers on my team too so much more. I feel like after this too. I'm like, wow, actually incredible, insane what you guys do.
Well, thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Big Life podcast. Don't forget to reach out to us if you guys have any questions, and we'll be back next week with some more college soccer. Until next time, see you guys later. Bye.
Bye, guys.